Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are giving some products some second chances. I try a lot of makeup, and sometimes I'm kind of quick to dismiss a product if it doesn't work how it says it should work upon first trial. Now that doesn't mean the product is terrible altogether, it just means it doesn't work for me. But I am very, I won't let something beat me, so I always have to give it a second chance. So I have So I have 3 products here we're gonna try today that I'm giving a second chance because I want them to work and I believe that they can work. Just before we get into it today, do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up. Let's just do it. We're gonna start with eyes. Now you have probably seen this very recently on my channel. It would have been only a few days since I posted a video, but in real life, it's probably been maybe a couple of weeks since I've used this. This is the Cara Beauty Creative Beauty palette, and it's that palette that looks like a cookie tin, and then you open it up, and it's a sewing kit inside. I'll link the whole video down below so you can try it out. Now, I found this palette extremely dry and kind of crusty and dusty. The pressed pigments weren't that great, but what I did try was the yellow and the orange, which I think are quite difficult colors to kind of get going. So I want to try these blues today, and I want to put some like shimmer on top to kind of get a different idea about the shades. I do have a very crusty eyelid here, as you can see, so we will take that into mind. Consider that, is what I'm trying to say. We are also trying the Haus Labs Concealer because I'm a huge fan of the Triclone foundation, and I desperately wanted this to work. I just wasn't a fan. I can't remember why now. It's been a long time since I tried it. As I said, I'll link the original videos for all these products down below in the description box. And we're also trying the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin foundation. I can't remember the exact name for it, I'll put it on the screen. This I really wanted to work. I bought like 4 shades, including the clear one, and it just sounded ideal for my oily skin. It was like a powder, quite mattifying. So for me, being quite oily, I was like, oh my god, perfect, amazing. I did not get on with it at all, and I really wanted it to work. There's a 3.5, which I don't know if is a new shade. I ordered a new one because I got rid of the other ones. 3.5 looked like my shade before. I had number 3 and number 4. And this is somewhere in between, so I'm glad they released a new one there. That's what we're trying. Let's start off with eyes first and go into this Cara Beauty palette. I want to do the blue on the whole lid and buff it out. Again, blue is kind of a difficult color to use, to make whatever. So we might get a lot of fallout, but that's fine. We can clean it up after. Okay, let's just do it. Let's go straight in. Let's start with the uncrusty eye. So the issue I had with this is, although the pigment was quite nice, when it came to, the formula wasn't the best, and when it came to using the shades together, especially using the orange on top of the yellow, the orange didn't kind of grip. It just like slid away and almost didn't show up. So what I'm hoping to achieve today by giving this another go is maybe getting a look that sits nicely on top of itself, because I'm just gonna use the blue and then a shimmer on top. Yes. And all the shades in this palette, there's some eyeshadows which were kind of like not as pigmented as I would have wanted them to be. And considering they're quite small shadows, they do kind of like take a lot of going backwards and forwards into the pan, out of the pan to get the color to build up. And when the shadow's that small, you don't really want to keep diving in and out of the palette the whole time. Also, because I have like quite a crusty eyelid today, I don't want to irritate it too much. I don't really know what happened. It just started to go all dry and all the skin just started to fall off. So I'm thinking if I could put something shimmery on top, it's going to be a lot nicer and a lot easier to kind of like control, you know? See, that's a really nice pigment. That's really strong. It sits really well. No complaints. And actually fallout is almost non-existent, so that's good. Okay, let's try to do this crusty eye. Honestly, it's going to be a really horrible texture. This blue in particular is sitting really well, and it builds up really nicely. And that wasn't really an issue the first time I used it. The pigment did build up really well on top of itself. It's just the particular colors maybe didn't quite sit well together. Like, look, I can build up the color and it comes out that like true electric blue, you know what I mean? Let's cover that crust. I'm gonna have to be very careful taking this makeup off today, but I can't really, you know, it's my job. I can't go a week without putting makeup on and taking it off. If this was the first time I had used that palette, I would be kind of impressed because this is quite nice. It's very like just blue, which is really lovely. I want to try this like shimmerier blue on top. This is an eyeshadow, but as I mentioned in my video before, if you haven't seen it, it's the size of my fingernail. So it's not exactly the best. It looks quite strong. That actually looks really nice. It's not the best. And they're not like, I don't know, the shimmers just lack a little bit. You see what I mean? Like I'm not looking at those shimmers and being like, oh my God, wow, they look so amazing. They're like slightly metallic, like it's just, it's not like wildly amazing. Let me just blend in those edges. I mean, no fallout still, that's good. That's really good actually. Oh, okay, a little bit. Oh, that was on my finger. Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. Would I mean, and it gets quite messy. Like I'm quite a hygienic person, but your brushes can't really fit into these little bits unless it's a tiny eyeshadow brush. So it does get quite messy. I'm still gonna put this aside and be like, you know what? I can't see myself using that again, and I can't see myself really recommending it, to be honest with you. Okay, let's do foundation. Now, I've prepped my skin in like a new way because I found that the issue I had with this was it sat very obviously in texture here, which I have on my skin, which is absolutely fine, but it was almost too obvious, especially around my nose as well. It just looked very dry. And even when I tried to blend it, I really wasn't having a good time with it. Same with the Wayne Goss foundation, which I really didn't like either. They were just very textured on the skin. I had stuck my finger in it to test on my face just to try the shade. I'm gonna take quite a small dense brush like this one. Let's just give it a go. So this is shade 3.5, and I'm gonna tap very lightly, almost to just color correct the skin first. And then I'll kind of work on blending that in a bit more. Because I really want to like this foundation because I can imagine it'll be really, really good on my skin, on an oilier skin. I feel like that's really what it's made for. When you're applying foundation and you kind of wipe like this, you can see it kind of like irritates the texture of the skin. So I'm just gonna try and tap a little bit more. I'm still not into the smell of this foundation. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use a clean finger just to tap a little bit. I'm gonna try a different brush on the other side and kind of like really push it into a skin like this, which I think is what I did last time. It's just so, I don't know. Let me give it a few because it's not looking as bad as when I used it the first time. I'm just gonna let it sit on my skin and let my skin kind of like, oh, my nose, I'm just not very impressed with the texture, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like it looks okay from far away, you know what I mean? But I'm just gonna let kind of like my natural oils get involved and just let it sit on my skin for a moment. But I mean, I can see it here looking a bit dry. I can see it doesn't look dry, it looks overworked. Like I just can't figure out the best way to apply this. And I've watched the videos and I've watched everything, and it's such a unique texture and formula, but I just don't think I can figure it out. And that instantly puts me off something because I'm like, why should I be spending ages trying to figure out how to use this product when I can just use a foundation that's quite simple and sits well on my textured skin, you know what I mean? Like that close up looks terrible on my skin. Let me get some phone footage so you can see. And I'll put that in here. It just looks a bit dry, a little bit crusty. Let's take a look at it in like 20 minutes and see how it is. Okay, concealer, the Haus Labs, is this called Triclone? So I didn't really like this the first time because the texture of it just didn't sit right. I was expecting perhaps a concealer version of the Triclone foundation, which is one of my absolute favorite foundations. Like, I can't fault it at all. And this concealer just seemed a little bit too, I think it was too dry, and it felt like it was clinging to the skin. It looked obvious on my skin, and it just wasn't giving Triclone foundation vibes, which I wasn't very happy about. Because the way that foundation sits on the skin is absolutely stunning. Like, I would recommend that to anyone, any skin type. It just looks so beautiful. Trying it now, I'm seeing it being a little bit better, maybe before I use too much. Because this is looking and feeling a lot better. You need, I think the small amount is key, and to kind of like take your time to blend. I'm using a flatter brush and just kind of tapping it into place and then very gently bringing it down. What really irritates me about this foundation is I know that if I could get it to work on me, it'll be a really great foundation for my skin type. Like, I really desperately want it to work. Oh yeah, this is, look how awful. And if I try to go back in and build this up, it just takes the foundation away. It really is horrible, horrible on my skin. Oh, I just want it to work, but I don't. I've tried a sponge, I've tried like a velvet puff, I've tried a flat puff, I tried like the puffs that come in with like cushion foundations, brushes, fluffy brushes, flat brushes, my fingers, and I just can't get it to work on me. But I know people will love this foundation. I know if I get it to work, I could also love this foundation because it will just sit so great on oily skin. Disappointing, very disappointing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some like blush, contour, lips, etc. And then I'm gonna come back and we'll take a look at the concealer and the foundation, how it's sitting on the skin. Okay, so we are back a little bit later. I haven't powdered my face at all. I just stuck on some lashes. I've done a bit of blush and contour, and my skin looks so horrendous. It looks so awful. It looks dry, I know it's meant to be matte, which is what I want. I'm very oily. I didn't do any like anti-oil prep or anything like that, and my skin just looks terrible. I really want this foundation to work, and I know there's a simple way, and I will find it. Concealer looks actually fine. It still isn't one I would really grab or go for. It's kind of like sitting quite heavy under the eyes still. I know it's concealer and I know it's meant to have a bit of coverage, but there are other concealers that are like a lot smoother than that as well. This one does seem a little bit too much. So again, it isn't really something I would be recommending to people. I'll use mine and I'll use it up on camera, but it isn't, again, something I'll be like, yeah, you have to go out and get it. This is horrendous. This is so bad. I really don't like it. This is fine, but if I was to go in and add another color, it just wouldn't work. So your options are kind of limited in what you're doing. So yeah, that's a no from me. It's a no for me. It's an okay-ish, and it's an I don't know. I almost feel like this foundation needs a third, fourth, fifth chance, and I need to figure out what I'm doing because this is brand new. All right, everyone, let me know if there's any products you purchased and didn't really get on with down below. Do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.